Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope all you guys are having a wonderful day. Today's video is going to be a lot different than what I've been consistently posting in the last recent months or two. I've been sharing a lot of trading content, a lot of trading recaps, a lot of trading tips, a lot of free education. And when I first started this channel, it was really to kind of incorporate that, but not just make it just trading, just investing. I really wanted to document this as my journey in life, share pieces of advice that helped me overcome and become better in my existence. Growing up in life is pretty challenging. Like, if you don't live with your parents and you don't work a job like a normal individual, and you're in that phase of your life where you're building your business, you're responsible for everything, creating your sales, your mental health, feeding yourself, cooking your meals, paying your rent. Like, once you build an independent life, a lot more pressure and responsibility settles in. And me being an entrepreneur, so dependent on constantly being able to create new business, manage new leads, invest my money. Trading is such a volatile, I guess you can say, very up and down career. I go through a lot of lessons that I learned very hard and I learned very young, and I've adapted to a much different lifestyle than what my parents taught me. And growing up, coming from a Mexican Hispanic family, my mom being a first generation American, my grandparents being immigrants, we're taught a lot of, hard work, go to school and buy a home. And these are all things I believe in. They are the fundamentals of life, to build just security and stability. But when you go out and you begin to draw these, realities of making, some people in business and entrepreneurship are generating, $30,000, $50,000. Some make $100,000 a month. And for many average individuals, this sounds like an extraordinary, out of the world, never reality. Like, it will never happen for them. And I was one of those people at once, And my journey with entrepreneurship has been a really crazy one. It's been one that I've had to learn a lot of things and rewrite my own psychology, my own beliefs on what's possible. And I've had to live through, I guess you can say, consequences of, not going the traditional route of going to find a career. Like, every single day I'm responsible for creating more income in my life to be able to sustain not just my retirement, my current day-to-day living expenses. So I've learned a lot of lessons. And when I started this channel, I noticed a lot of people don't go down a path like this. Not a lot of people, are building their businesses at 20 years old. Some are, at least in my environment, are just focused on, building careers and working jobs. So I know how unique this journey of self-developing and building your business is, and I decided to share tips and experiences that made me better, that helped me see that environment in life for myself of generating multiple thousands in just a shorter amount of time. To show you guys a little bit of the result of my life, I said it last time in my last video, I was going to show you guys my bank statements, but this is my bank statements from last month. Last month. You can see September, I had a $26,000 month. In October, I had a $7,600 month. In August, I had a 5.4K month. Going into December, I had a $9,000 month. In February of this year, I had a $12,000 month. In March, again, I had a $26,000 month. And this is just on my personal checkings account. My Chase Bank has a whole different, I don't want to take too much of the video to go show all of that, but I, am aware of how much I can generate independently without a job. And this is a whole different world. If you go take someone, that's so dependent on their careers and their jobs, and you tell them, hey, quit your job right now, go make $12,000 off of that crazy idea you had in your head, it's pretty damn challenging. It takes a lot. You have to learn how to put yourself out there. You got to learn how to market yourself using social media platforms. You got to know how to do cold outreach, practice human communication to a level of damn near professionalism and perfection to be able to convert someone to pay for your business and service. You have to gain the trust of strangers. You got to know how to interact with strangers. And this was a very, very self-developing journey for myself. Especially, growing my business now at 23 years old, I have now grown my Discord, which is like my my consulting business where I teach a lot of beginners how to invest and trade to now over 108 members in just the last 12 months. So every single member, you know, I have a current rate of about $250 a month for a full year subscription. So I'm closing my clients at around $3,000 a pop. You do $3,000 times 108. It's, you know, simple math here, guys. But if I go and tell $324,000, and being young, not coming from money, not having my parental guidance, not having a multiple six-figure earner in my life or in any of my family, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot of hard lessons. I've lost a lot of that money. I've made really bad investments in my life that costed me $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And I had to stomach that. I had to deal with these losses. I had to, you know, just this week alone, like at 23 years old, right? Just at 23 years old, if I go look at my current trading this month, I got absolutely obliterated. I lost $9,000 in 1 month. What some people are trying to make in a month working every single day, I lost 9 grand, down the drain, gone. Mentally, that's challenging, that's hard. Not a lot of 23-year-olds, even grown adults, can stomach that kind of loss, show up for themselves and keep on going. That type of resilience, that type of mentality has taken me years to incorporate and build resilience to be able to sustain losses like this. Same thing as the goods. When I make $30,000, $40,000, I can't just go thinking immaturely, blowing it on brand new cars, on financing all this crap. I have to be very mature. There's no one guiding me. So in that journey of making a lot of money, losing a lot of money, I've learned some very big lessons. And there are a lot of lessons that my parents, that, like I said, growing as first generation Mexican Americans, my grandparents being Mexican Hispanic, even just Latino, bro. No one's teaching us this. No one's teaching us how to scale your life to $20,000, $30,000 months. And I just showed you my bank statements. I just showed you what I lost this month on Robinhood. That's minus $9,000 in less than 3 weeks. I still paid my rent. I still have this place. I'm not running dry. So there is a unique life I have here if I sit and compare myself to the vast majority. And I you know, oftentimes struggle with this in my life. Like, the mental game is so challenging to overwrite. The psychology of believing in yourself is so hard. Like, it's not easy, and I don't blame the world for being in the state that it's in, because it's not easy. It's very hard. But one thing I want to trade in information with you guys today is understanding the key component that really drives me and helps me get up every single day and go after it. And it's just understanding the simple concept that the world is bigger than you. And my mental health is oftentimes very affected by this, because there's people younger than me. You know, there's people that are 20, 19, you know, 18 years old, 21 years old, 22 years old, making hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars online. And not a lot of people come and talk to you about this world because it's so unique, it's very niche. But once you put in the work and you build it, it takes a lot of, you know, confidence to put yourself on camera and share this with the world and expose your life for every single detailed thing that happens. But for some individuals, it really does pay off. So let me give you guys this illustration here. There's a lot of famous, you know, influencers and I guess superstars, whatever artists you want to call them, that built up a really big following for themselves. Some even having followings of up to 250,000 people. So 250,000 people, let's say you're that audience, you're that creator, and you build out a product for just $5, right? $5 product, not even asking an arm and leg, something that 90% of people have laying around. And if they're your true audience, they'll probably pay for it. So let's say that out of those 250,000 people, let's shave off 70% of them. Let's say 70% just piss you out the window. They don't want nothing to do with you. They like you, but they don't like you. $5 enough. So let's say that only 30% support you. That's 75,000 people. So let's say those 75,000 people buy a $5 product from you. That right there is $375,000 you just generated from closing 30% of your audience. You see how that's a different reality than going to school for 4 years, working every single day for 12 months, compared to building up that following, building up that amount of audience, that authenticity, that relationship with your viewers. Hey, a lot of people in this world are consumers of content, consumers of music. Everywhere you go, people are just non-brainlessly, scrolling. On your lunch breaks at work, you'll see people just on their phone, just scrolling. On your drives to work, you're listening to music, you're listening to an artist, you're playing videos in the background. Everyone's constantly consuming, and you could be the person they consume. But a lot of people don't see that like that because it's easier to consume than it is to produce. And this is a shift in mentalities, a shift in yourself, that you can take advantage of this. You can be that person one day, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of uncomfortable steps. For me, making these videos at first was very challenging, but now I'm just getting better. But now that you guys see this, what's possible, there's not people out here charging $5 products. There's people selling $20 products, $15 products to 75,000 people. And now if we do that math, 75,000 people times, let's say, a $20 product, still not an arm and leg, you generated over $1.5 million in revenue. That's a whole different paradigm than trying to land a gig that pays you $150,000 a year, which is like my parents were trying to teach me. My parents were trying to incorporate into me. And learning this life through my own lens, seeing life through this specific way all by myself, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I make this video to share that with you guys, so you guys understand that the world is bigger than you. So now in a short moment, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the presentation. I have a whiteboard here behind me that hopefully is gonna help me illustrate this kind of basic concept of how to believe and think about the world a little bit differently, so you can start taking that opportunity on building your own business, building your own audience, and moving forward in what life really has in store for us. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. It means a lot to me to be able to share this perspective and knowledge with you guys that took me years to develop for myself, but hopefully we're able to work on it together, and I can help you guys be the first step in changing your mind. That I'm able to help you guys take that first step in believing in more and creating a business or just your online presence for yourself to be able to scale one day to your own stream of income, to help you add a little bit more than just what life throws at us. You know, learning how to be the pilot, learning how to be the captain of your own opportunities in life really does change everything. It helped me in my life, and this is what I built this YouTube channel for, to be able to help you guys the way that no one helped me. So let's go ahead and jump into the presentation here. All right, guys, so the first step, I know this is a little bit awkward. I hope you guys give me the time and day and watch this video, because it really does kind of show you a little bit of a perspective of how many people's lives kind of work. So at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, you know, you're gonna need to find people that are able to connect with you, and you're gonna be able to have to first understand that the world is bigger than you, bigger than the people you went to high school with, bigger than your coworkers, bigger than the people you call your friends. There's a world of strangers out there that you need to be able to meet to be able to find and convert your product in business. And this is very challenging, but it's not impossible. So for the vast majority of people, how their lives work is you are right here. Many people have their mom, you know, their dad. Some have, you know, cousins, aunts and uncles, aunts. Excuse my handwriting. I'm just trying to make this quick because I know people have the attention span of a goldfish. So gotta make this kind of quick. So you have your cousins, aunts, uncles, and then you have your friends, co-workers, and acquaintances. So now that you understand all of this, acquaintances, okay, boom. That's usually how people's lives work. They only associate themselves with that group of people. They don't go further out into the world of strangers. They just stick around with their coworkers, their friends, where they're comfortable, right? And this is doing you more harm than you can imagine. Because the people that you surround yourself with, your friends, your coworkers, your family, their minds are already fixed. Majority of people already have a fixed mindset. They've accepted life for what it is. They live to their day-to-day situations. And if they're not someone in your life generating $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, shooting for what it is you're aiming for, right? The thing about life is that it's an independent journey. Not everyone wants $50,000, $60,000 a month for you. Not everyone wants financial success the way that you're gonna want it. And a lot of the times, the people that don't want it like that for themselves, they're not really gonna want it for you. So you're gonna have to get away from those people, not necessarily abandon them and just leave them in the dust, go socially, you know, zero. I've done it, but That's kind of unhealthy. It's good to have some friends, but you need to have the right friends. You need to have people that encourage you, people that believe in you, right? And that's oftentimes very hard to receive from just these people when you're starting. So you have to go out into people outside of just who you know. And this is very challenging. How are you going to do that? You know, walking up to strangers in person, it's hard to even hold a small talk conversation with them. It's even harder to pitch them a business and have them pay you on the spot. So now in the era of digital technology and social media, you can now make what we call content. You're allowed to express your thoughts, your words, the things you believe in freely. You know, you see artists, unfortunately, you know, in the middle income, lower income areas, people are just rapping about nonsense. You see rappers being glorified for talking about sex, drugs, robbing, killing, all this lucrative, not the most intelligent stuff, right? But yet, they have audience of tens of thousands of people. And those tens of thousands of people, like I told you, hey, 20,000 people, you charge them $5, you just made 100 grand. People, artists, big influencers are doing that at scale, sometimes making hundreds of thousands the second they release a product. And they release it again the next month, another 100,000. And these guys are not more intelligent than you. They're not better looking. They're not more important. They're not special. All they've done is create an audience. And they're not saying the most positive stuff. They're not creating the most, I guess you can say, helping content and information out there, and they're able to create these type of financial returns for themselves. So you, being that individual, right, noticing that the world is in a little bit of a tough place and wanting to help, putting positive, you know, notes out there, changing the shape of, you know, what you are consuming and being a better life for others, hey, it's a great way to stick out. And doing that every single day, sharing your unique thoughts, sharing your unique perspectives will shape your life to eventually find other people that agree with you. But you have to understand it's like fishing. Every day you're going to cast your reel. Not everyone's going to bite. But you have to keep casting that reel every single day. And this effort doesn't build up overnight. You continue to do this effort over weeks, over months. I've had clients that watched my content for a full year before they stepped up to the plate and paid me $3,000. So I know it's very discouraging. You know, my TikTok accounts are currently shadow banned. I'm only getting 90 people watching me. So when I fish my reel, I have to catch one out of those 90 people. As my audience grew, when I was at the peak of my career and I had over 600 people watching me on Instagram, 1,000 people watching me on Snapchat, I would cast my reel with a bigger audience. If you have 1,000 people watching you, you really only need, what, 1% is 10 people? So I need 0.5% to have one person. That's a lot higher conversion rate. But to build that audience, I wasn't building it through posting it once a day. I wasn't building it, you know, sharing the thoughts of normal people. I was sharing my own unique thoughts. And this is what makes you valuable as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, someone looking to establish themselves. It's your unique, independent thoughts. A lot of people have built insane audiences talking about just nonsense. Your rappers, you can see them. They're everywhere. They're not more intelligent than you, but they're able to make more. So, find your message, find what it is you're looking to provide, and continue producing every single day. And in that, you know, you can't let the opinions of your friends, your cousins, your family begin to limit you. There's such a small percentage of what the world really has in store. And many people never understand that the biggest supporters in your life are going to be strangers. Your friends, your family, your coworkers, if they even decide to support you, they're not going to be able to support you for the entirety of your life. Some people, hey, you're starting a business? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'll buy something. They'll probably never buy again. After that, you got to find new people. That's life. So begin to understand that the world is filled with people, right? And you need to be able to meet them. And understand this about the hard part of beginning. Oftentimes you're limited to beliefs, thinking that, hey, what am I doing this for? Who's ever gonna want this? There's a lot of doubt, correct? Being different sometimes sucks. Sometimes putting yourself out there is a little bit uncomfortable. I understand what that feels like because I myself been through there. But understand that yes, there's people that judge you. There's people that are going to think about you negatively, but then there's also people that think about you positively. So you have to learn how to rewire your mental psychology to aim for the people that are going to think about you positively to create the result that you're aiming for. So learning how to have that mental toughness to, hey, you know what? I'm not aiming for the people that think about me negatively. I'm aiming for the people that think about me positively. So continue to put that content out there. And as you go through on your journey and your consistency, you will find people that align with you. And this is the toughest part, but once you begin to find people that align with you, guess what? Now you can establish influence. So when people align with you, they value your words. Someone that thinks that you're just stupid and nonsense, the second you speak, their respect for you is down here. But someone that aligns with you and believes in what you're saying, their attention span and respect for what you're talking about begins to rise a lot higher. You're not here to please everyone in this life. Your life is very short. You got one chance, man. So if you live your life trying to please everyone, chances are very low that you're actually going to do it. So understand that. And as you begin to build your life, it's about connecting with strangers. It's about beginning to find those people. And it's the hardest part of life because now you're uncomfortable. Now you're, putting yourself out there. So when you're beginning to understand this in your life, it's very important that you don't just ramble and build content just because you have the ability to, but to deliver it with a purpose. Deliver it with an intent of, hey, nurturing, sharing ideas that you, for the vast majority of your life really believed in. And that's what has helped me. This helped me take my business from $0 a month to easily over 10K a month. And this is where I share with you guys the importance of understanding that the world is much bigger than you, much bigger than your mom and dad, your cousins, your friends and coworkers. Individuals that aren't achieving $50,000, $60,000 a month through their own business models or lives, they're not going to be able to teach you how to do it. So being the outlier in your own situation in life, bro, you have to do it for yourself. That's very hard. So the mental aspect begins to kick in. You have to overcome that doubt of posting your first videos, getting 50 viewers, 100 viewers. Yeah, it sucks, but keep on going. Keep on adding people. Don't just, hey, limit to, oh, I got 10 followers and that's it. No, go follow people. Play offense, Begin to accumulate mathematical situations for your progress. So if you add, let's say 30 people in a day times 30 days, you just added 150 people to now your audience. Some are going to like you, some are not going to like you. Now, if you do that for 10 months, you just added 1,500 people. But that's very slow. Now you got to begin to add multiple conversions, allow more streams to be able to grasp the audience. So you start incorporating 30 people on Snapchat, 30 people on Instagram, 30 people on TikTok, 30 people on Twitter, and maybe a couple people on YouTube. Now you're throwing out 50 or 30 tries on 5 different streams. So now you're doing 150 tries in a day. Now 150 tries in a day times 30 days, a whole different equation. You're borderline at, I want to say 150 times 30. If I'm not mistaken, I think that comes out to 4,500 people a month. You do that for 12 months, you're talking about 40,000 plus the 5. You're talking about almost 100,000 people you're outreaching to. And you got to continue to go out there. You got to continue to do it. And it's pretty challenging. It's very hard. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. But listen to me on this aspect of it. That's life. You're either going to do it when you're 30, a little bit old school, out the game. What is this guy doing making content? They're going to view you a little bit different than that young buck coming out the ring, swinging, producing content. You got to take advantage of your youth, push your message out there, believe in it. And this doesn't mean that you can't do it at your 30s, 40s. By all means, no. Be yourself. Don't let the world captivate your ideas, your words, your thoughts, your feelings into thinking you can't share it. No, be yourself. Let it rip, man. Not everyone's going to enjoy it. Not everyone's going to be there to support you. I said that in my last video. Some people listen to Taylor Swift. Some people listen to Kanye West. Some people listen to Justin Bieber. Some people listen to Jay-Z. Some people listen to Lil Baby. There's different musical artists. Some people never listen to them in their lives. But every single one of those artists I just listened to are all billionaires, multi-millionaires. They didn't get there because everyone liked them. They got there because some people liked them. And they all stuck to their own path, their own message, their own impact long enough to build up enough people to make them multimillionaires. And that's why I tell you guys, believe in yourself. Because when you begin to overcome that and you begin to put your own message out there, you understand the undefining gift that you are unique. Once you're unique, you become a niche. There's no one else that is you, no one else that can do what you do, giving you a power, advantage over everyone in front of you that makes you 100% undeniably special. Doesn't matter. The second you lose that thought, you lost. You become one of the rest. You become a consumer and you begin to glorify the people that do believe in that thought, that do believe that they are special. And that's what happens to everyone. The reason you have a favorite artist, the reason you have a favorite content creator is because you believe in that person being special, just as much as they believe in themselves being special. So understand that yes, you have value. You can be at dead bottom zero. Just the fact that you're sharing your story, sharing your thoughts, being there for others, being a positive influence, you can become extremely valuable despite being in probably the worst situation of your life. And that's what I tell people. They don't really always see it like this, but it does you more harm to not see it like this than if you do see it like this, especially if you're looking to grow yourself digitally. And digitally is a whole different game, because once you understand that digitally is much more efficient than in person. If I go and try to pitch someone on a $3,000 service, they've never met me in their life, I'm talking about teaching them the stock market and investing, like, who the hell is this guy? But if I go pitch the same idea to someone that's been watching me for the last 6 months, every single day, post continuously, share my story, it's going to be a little bit less resistance, higher chances of converting. And that's the advantage you have in the digital world, that you can nourish people with content, nourish people with your thoughts, build that personal connection through a screen, rather than trying to do that with 100 people in person. 100 people in person won't even give you the time of day to hear you out. On digital, so many people are so cognitively, the resistance is so low, they will watch your content without even knowing it sometimes. They're just consuming. Higher chances, instead of trying to, hey man, what's going on? Jerry Diaz, nice to meet you. Hey, so I'm in the area, trying to promote my business. I'm young, trying to grow it. Have you ever gotten, into the stock market or been interested in it? A lot of people haven't, but I'm trying to just grow my business and teach people for free. If you're interested, here's my business card. I'm having a class. I'd like to help you if you're available to it. So many people are going to tell me no to that if they never met me, compared to the, hey, that same presentation to all the people that are watching me on a day-to-day basis. Understand that as you're developed to entrepreneurship on your journey with promoting your business digitally. And that's the advantage you're going to have, because now you combine that with the outreach part. Remember, reaching out to 30 people across 5 different social media platforms. Right there. Now, the tough part is managing all those social media platforms. For me, that's been very challenging to manage Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. It's work, but it's much better to put in that work there into yourself, building in that personal brand, building up that longevity aspect for yourself, than to put in that same amount of work for an opportunity that caps you at what you're available to make. And that's why I tell people business, entrepreneurship is such a unique journey, because that's when you really self-develop yourself and you understand truly what you're capable of. You're not limited to now what you get paid in an hour. You're limited to the output, what you're able to outreach and create and convert. And that's a unique journey. It's challenging, it's not easy at first, but it gets better. And that's what I tell you guys to incorporate and believe in your own lives, so you too can begin to understand the game of the world being bigger than you and start conquering the world of strangers. And this is the big journey at the beginning of your life, because you're, leaving your family, you're leaving different thoughts and psychologies that many see as normal, and you're becoming something much different. It's not, something easy to achieve at first, but it's something that most definitely is possible. And I do believe in it potentially having the really high likelihood of changing your life financially and changing your life in general. I've met badass people, multi-millionaires, high-level professional poker players, $50,000, $60,000 a month business owners. I've met, man, insane people, bro, just because I was able to take those first steps. And I'm 23. I think I'm fairly old. Doing this in your 18, 19, 20s, you're killing it, man. But start somewhere and it begins to grow with you. And it's possible, man. It really is possible. And just overcome that barrier of that struggle at first, that uncomfortableness at first, and you do grow into something big one day. And I hope this presentation was a little bit helpful to help you guys, I guess, believe to think a little bit differently about how you consume media and how you produce media to be able to create a new opportunity for yourself aside from what the physical world is able to provide for you. Because the digital world is a lot more profitable and has a lot more opportunity than most people think. People just use their phones as a form of entertainment, just to scroll cluelessly, no purpose at all, just to pass time. But the second you use this device and you don't let this device use you, you can generate easily more than $20,000, $30,000 a month with it. Basically in your first 4 months if you really do it correctly. And if you guys want to learn more about that, learn how to really achieve, I guess, a different mentality around this, feel free to message me. I work with clients all the time, helping them understand the beginning step of person. And I know this presentation being far beyond what many people oftentimes think of, being such a unique thought process and a unique idea for me in my life to share this knowledge with you. Not everyone's going to value it. And that's, you know, what I already overcome in my life, but I want you guys to understand it as just an example. So many people did not make it to the end of this video, but the people that did value this knowledge compared to all the people that didn't. That's life. You have to find the people that do. So if you made it to this far, I genuinely thank you. I hope that this advice is able to help you reshape your life and think about the world of opportunity that's out there, aside from just your job, aside from just, you know, what normal day-to-day life presents to us. Learn how to rewrite your story and make new friends, make new experiences, use the world as now we have the ability to. You know, before, back in the 2000s, 1900s, you weren't able to do things like this. If you were born poor, you're stuck poor. You know, you have to do some extraordinary things to try to overcome and become wealthy. Now, digitally, the ability to become rich, make an extra $10,000 a month, it's very easy. A lot of people aren't telling you this stuff though, and that's why I built this channel, to be able to share this knowledge with you guys. And I believe in helping you guys. I believe in sharing this, and I hope it's able to enlighten you, share a different perspective on life, and help you guys build it to something of one day finding your own definition of greatness. So I hope this presentation is able to help you guys begin to open your mind to a new set of ideas. I know not everyone's going to agree with this, not everyone's going to see it through my lens, and it's because a lot of people haven't lived through it yet. But what I just told you guys is the blueprint that has allowed me to build a 10K a month minimum business at just 23 years old. It wasn't this secret magic trick. This wasn't this overnight success. It was years, months of continuous repetition of sharing content, sharing ideas, sharing philosophies, different thought patterns, different realities, you know, sharing that I made $100,000 in 3 hours all off of my iPhone trading Tesla stock options. That's outlier. That's unreal. That's my advantage over so many other people. And I share, and I've done it for countless other individuals. My clients have now been able to make extra hundreds, sometimes thousands, and I've impacted their lives positively by sharing this knowledge with them. But it would have never happened if I didn't take the first steps. And I hope that this video helps encourage you guys to believe in yourself despite the mental barrier being uncomfortable, the doubts at first being so overwhelmingly strong that sometimes confine us to not believing in opportunities like this. But I hope that this is able to begin to ignite the fire in you and push you to make the most out of this reality and finally uncover financial success the way you desire it for your business, and that crazy little idea that all of us at some point of our lives get. And don't let the world of doubt, don't let the world of fear win, because you're much bigger, you're much more powerful than that. And if your family, your friends, they don't value that, I promise you that in this life, strangers will. And that's what it's all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Thank you guys for watching. Jerry Trades, I really do appreciate you guys, supporting, leaving a like, commenting, giving me the time of day to watch this. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for watching. Jerry Trades, the SoCal Trading Group, over and out.